What's happening, guys? I'm Dave. So by now you've probably known a little bit on the guitar. You probably had your first lesson, right? The first lesson should be G chord progression. That's the one I always teach, right? You have G, C, E minor, D. Why? 4 chord progression. You're 1, 4, 5, 6. 4 chords that are in every song, right? Well, now let's take a look at another key. One with 0 sharps and flats. Key of C. What do we have for our 1 chord? We have a C right here. Here's how we're going to play it. First finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of your 5th string. And you're going to play 5th string down. The reason why you don't hit the top string, it's in the chord. We have an extra E note right here. And right here, open 1st string. However, the root note is our C. If we play the E, that's what we call a first inversion. And we'll get into that in another video. But first inversion basically means you're playing the 3rd of the chord in the bass. And we don't want to do that for this particular case. There are some instances where you do play that chord, but we're not going to do it for this one. So, you have your first chord, right? Now the next chord I teach is a very subtle adjustment from C. You're going to take your 3rd finger off, you're going to place it on the 2nd fret of your 3rd string. And you're going to strum 5th string down again. And this is what you have called is an A minor. Okay? This is going to be your 6th chord. Why? Because if you know the C major scale, which you should, and I'll teach it to you, it's going to be your 6th note in the C major scale. And we'll look at the C major scale a little bit later, but for now, know that this is your 6th chord, your A minor. The 6 is always going to be a minor. Alright, next chord we're going to play is going to be G. We're going to switch up all our fingers for this one. You should know the G. It's pretty commonly taught as the first chord you learn. 1st finger, 2nd fret, 5th string. 2nd finger, 3rd fret, 6th string. 3rd finger, big stretch. 1st string, 3rd fret. You're going to strum all the strings and stops. And then finally, we're going to have, this is our 5 chord by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our G note right there, 5th chord, alright? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was our A minor. 1 chord, obviously, C. And then finally, it's going to be our 4th chord, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be an F note. We're going to play our F. Typically, we do a nasty old bar chord here, but we're going to be easy on you. We're going to take this, we're going to simplify it to a modification of F major 7. And you don't need to know why it's named that for now. I'm just going to teach you the fingering right here. We're actually going to do something very similar to our C chord. C is going to be right here. If you remember how to play C, all we're going to do is lift up our 2nd and 3rd finger and place them both down a string, meaning a string below, further down, right? So our 2nd finger is now on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then our 3rd finger goes on the root note, the bass note, which is going to be an F right here on the 3rd fret of your 4th string. And we're going to try and aim for the 4th string down. However, if you hit the A note, then that's going to be like hitting the 6th string when you're playing C. In the same way, we have a first inversion here because A is the 3rd in the F chord. So it's an F major 7 in first inversion, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But it's okay if you accidentally hit these strings, alright? It's not the end of the world. It still sounds pretty cool. So what about a strumming pattern now, right? Because we want to create music. We want to learn a little bit about dynamics, phrasing. Well, here's what I teach. I'm going to show you, you've probably learned 4/4 timing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So now, let's try something new called 6/8 or 3/4 timing. Here's a strumming pattern I teach. Alright, so what am I doing here? Well, check this out. Nice and slow. We're going to count it out for 6/8, alright? It's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and for the last 6 and, we're going to lift up our fingers that are going to be changing, and then switch to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and Lift up all your fingers to play. G, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and lift up. F major 7, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and lift up your second, third finger. Go back to C. Now, let's learn something else. Along with this strumming pattern, you also want to pay attention to dynamics. Check this out. We don't want everything to be just the same volume. We want to give something that is called accents a little bit of attention here. And what would accents be? Well, think of it like percussion, right? In which you have your C chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Now, here's what I'm doing. On most of the beats, I'm simply aiming at the top strings, okay? But then for accents, for a little more volume and oomph and power, I'm gonna strum all the strings, okay? Give it a little more color. So I'm basically giving it more color. I'm doing the accents on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 1 and the 4. And this is very similar to what a snare would be doing. If you had a drummer, a percussionist, the bass for 4/4 timing would be on 1 and 3, the snare would be on 2 and 4. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Notice I put the accents on the 2 and the 4. In the case of 6/8 timing, we're gonna do the accents on the 1 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you'll notice I'm putting in the 8th note at the very end to give it a little more spice, use a little more intricate rhythm, get you your brain jogging a little bit more, okay? So we're applying the rhythm and the dynamics now, along with the chords we learn, to this song. And this is a song I teach a lot of new students too. Typically the first song I teach is the G major chord progression for a song, How Great Is Our God. It's like, how great is our God? Sing with me, how great. Right, you get the idea. The second song I teach, which teaches the new rhythm, the 6/8 timing or 3/4, depending how we look at it, and also the C major chord progression is going to be How He Loves. It's like, loves us, oh, how He loves us, oh, how He loves us. And yes, as you know, I probably lead worship, right? I do. My voice is a little off, so forgive me. But you get the idea. So that's right there, that would be the second lesson. I would teach you firstly how your G major chord progression works with 4/4 timing, and then of course your C major chord progression, which is also just as common, and 6/8 or 3/4 timing.